Fabulous. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for being here, all of you, and thank you so much for this evening's beautiful session. As I said, I'm holding this session from a really beautiful part of Maharashtra, and outside is a 300-acre forest. And here I sit, and the topic today, the topic is here and now. How to be more and more in the here and now. And I really wish, the morning session, if any of you were part of the morning session, I was actually out in the balcony. And then from there, you all could be with me together in the here and now, in the forest, because there were all of these beautiful sounds of the rain, the pitter patter of the rain, the birds outside, the leaves, the wind, everything. And that was a part of the here and now. But how to bring yourself in the here and now in any moment, whether you have an outside beautiful nature scenario or you have the usual, your office setting and your home setting and so much of cacophony around you. How is it that you will stay in the here and now? A couple of tips in today's session. So we constantly talk about what does it mean to be in the here and now. And I tell you people, I share with you people that it's times that I'm constantly sitting in blankness for days. Not just I. Now, many of you have started to experience that as well. As you take on more and more of Meenal energies, whatever it is that I'm experiencing from my frequencies, from the shift in my frequencies, you're also experiencing the same in a much quicker way. So many of you have started to feel that blankness of the here and now. Yes, it's the blankness of here and now. Does work happen? Yes, absolutely. All the work happens. Whatever needs to happen, happens with ease and grace. And through it, where do you sit? Normally, the investment banker that I was, where did I sit? As soon as there would be a new transaction on my plate, there would be some work to be done. I would take on all the costumes of doership. And I would say, okay, I need to do this. And from that place, so much of planning is needed, so much of looking forward, looking backward. Okay, last time we made these mistakes, so we can't be making those same mistakes again. This time we've got to do things differently, and then looking forward. And here is what happens when you look forward, backward, sideways. All of the times you miss out on the moment of now. In the moment of now, how does work happen is something that I discovered just a couple of years ago, that the mind goes blank. Whatever needs to be done, the first step that needs to be taken, that just comes on your plate. And you go ahead and you do that step. You don't think about what are going to be the consequences of this step. How is this going to pan out? What should you do better? What was the reaction last time? You don't think of the past and you don't think of the future. You just simply do whatever has come in the way that feels the right one for the moment. No, this is the wrong way and this could be done better. If we have these thoughts, then we are in the comparison mode. The minute we are in the comparison mode, the comparison is with something that happened previously or something that we've imagined, an outcome that we've imagined as it needs to be. And so the minute we think past and future, we are not in the present. This place of being in the present comes without using all of these faculties over here. It just simply comes from here. And for that, I always have this one question. You all know it. You all know what the question is. It is, what am I feeling? The minute you can take a look at what am I feeling and clear, your fears, which belong to the future or belong to the past, your worries, which mostly belong to the future, your sadness, which mostly belongs to your past. So when you can leave all of those emotions and simply be blank in the moment, that would be in the here and now. And so just, this particular webinar, we just talk about one or two ways in which you can be constantly engaging yourself to be in the moment. You already know that one question, and many of you are now clued into that question. What's happening? What's inside you? What is the work within that you need to do? And so today, just throwing a little bit more light on that, and probably giving another step for that as well. So when we think about meditation, anytime that mostly people think about meditation, even if it's my meditation where I'm constantly, taking you through some fun stuff and nothing seems like meditation. But when we think about meditation, we come with a lot of ideas as to what a meditation should look like. I should be completely clear of all thoughts. I should not have any thoughts at all. And that's what we think a meditation should look like. If meditation looked like that, then really nobody in the world would be able to do that. The word meditation, at least when I was a beginner on this path of receiving guidance, before that anybody would mention the word meditation, I would run out of the room. I didn't know what meditation was, and it scared the hell out of me because I couldn't sit quiet for a second. The minute somebody said, okay, sit quietly and observe your breath, it was like the death of me. I couldn't understand what was there to observe in the breath. The breath is simply just going in and coming out. And I couldn't understand what was there to observe in that. Well, now I know that the only thing that is to observe in that is just that. It's just that you have to observe your breath going in, your breath coming out. And what do you observe in that? Everything. Whether the breath that's going in feels warm, feels cold, whether the breath that's coming out, how does that feel? What was the sensation within? Everything. You just feel that for that moment that the breath is going in and for the moment that the breath's coming out. And that's all that meditation is. Once I understood that not just this, meditation is also just very simple if you understand that no matter what you are engaged in, if you're engaged in work, but you're totally immersed in whatever you are doing, then that's meditation as well. Because in that moment, you aren't thinking back, you aren't thinking forward. You're simply doing whatever needs to be done in that moment. And that's to be in the here and now. And you can be doing that with no matter what activity you're there. You don't need to take out time separately for meditation. You don't need to sit in a singular position. You don't need to be taking your thoughts, waiting for all your thoughts to run away. No, as a matter of fact, when thoughts come, those thoughts are just simply to be observed. What we do normally when thoughts come, our mind churns a little bit more. This gets into action. And now we are thinking the next step and the next step. No, here's the difference. When the thought comes, we simply take a look at the thought. And so the first step of the now, here and now. The first step, many of you already know my positivity process where I talk about observe the thought and then release it. Observe the thought and then let it go. And so whatever the emotion is. So here again, the very first step would be how to observe that thought and let it go a little bit more, just a little bit more. So here's another step that I add to that. We'll begin with a practice session going along. And so in the practice session, a deep breath in and release. And as you let go, as you take that deep breath in, observe the breath in and observe the breath out. As you observe the breath in and out, go to this place of calm, just calm. Just a small little breath can do it to you. Just take a deep breath in. And the pace that the mind was running at, the pace is going to slow down. As you slow down this pace, now I have this one suggestion. Whatever it is that you were thinking about during the day to day, wherever your mind was engaged the most, whatever thoughts, whatever is the latest thing that's happening in your life that's causing your mind to go in circles, let's concentrate on that thought. As you look at that thought, whatever that thought might be, this time simply observe the emotion underneath. We know how to do that, right? What are you feeling? As you look at that thought, what are you feeling? To recognize that the thought is not the place where action needs to be taken. The thought is going to be churned out. There's a mill, there's an emotional mill at the back end, and these thoughts are coming out from that emotional mill. So firstly, to recognize what emotion is hiding underneath that thought. We all know this. This is what the positivity process is all about, to filter the emotion from the thought. And so that's the first step again, even over here. And as you filter the emotion, whether that emotion is of anger or sadness or fear, in this moment, simply recognizing that the emotion doesn't belong to you, neither does the thought belong to you. So simply visualize in this moment, in the now, simply visualize a lot of buckets. Yeah, just buckets. And each bucket has an emotion on it. So there's a bucket titled anger, there's a bucket titled fear, there's a bucket titled joy, a bucket with love written on it. Wherever your thoughts belong, if those thoughts are a little heavy, they don't feel good to you, then simply visualize that you're walking up to that bucket and putting your emotion into that bucket. That's where it belongs. There was a thought and there was an emotion. You don't have to pick up any one of those. If there is something that's handed over to us and we don't pick it up, then it doesn't belong to us, right? So here a thought came. It wasn't yours. A thought came. Whichever frequency that thought came from, now we simply go and deposit that thought back onto that frequency. It belongs there, let it stay there. We are not going to engage with it right now. We are simply taking that thought and putting it into the bucket where it belongs. The bucket is not you. You are the one putting that thought into that bucket. Sadness bucket, joy bucket, it doesn't matter. It's a bucket and it's got a place. Your thought has a place. We are going to go and put that thought in that bucket. So that being step two, that whatever comes to your mind, whatever is engaging your faculties over the day, over the last couple of hours, simply putting that thought back where it belongs, back where it belongs. If it seems like it is something that you would like to keep with you, okay, great. If the thought comes from joy and you think that you would want to play a little bit more in joy, fabulous. But if it comes from anxiety, there's a bucket called anxiety. And all you need to do is simply take that thought and say, it doesn't belong to me. I'm going to put it right back. With just that, take another deep breath. A job well done. You've taken the thought and you've put it back to where it belongs. You haven't kept it with you. You've simply given it away. And now, in this next moment, as you look at where you are sitting right now, no matter what you are doing, no matter where you are, simply be in the now by engaging one of your faculties, one of your senses. How is that? For example, we have all of these senses, the eyes, the nose, the ears, for smelling, for the feel of it, for hearing, for looking, whatever the engagement with the faculties is. Now we are going to just simply narrow it down. That's the next step for coming more and more into the here and now. In the morning session, we were sitting outside, and then I decided we are going to focus on the ears, the senses of the hearing. And as we did that, we put all our focus on the sounds around us. So right now, you could do that with anything else as well. For example, if you're looking, maybe you're looking at something. It could be that you're looking simply at your glasses. And now, not just looking for your glasses, but as you look at your glasses, look at the shape. Look, just slow down and look at everything about these pairs of glasses. It's that easy. It doesn't have to be a pretty picture. No, it doesn't have to be that I have to go out and look for something pretty to be gazing at. It has to be a tree. No, it could be something that's right around you. It belongs to you. Maybe you're looking for glasses, but as you're looking for glasses, and suddenly you get reminded that maybe I want to be in the now, right now. And then what we will do, as soon as you find your glasses, or even as you're looking around for them, you will simply take a look at all the colors that exist in this glass, the shape, the feel, everything about these glasses. And you will slow down and observe that piece, whatever it is that you're looking for. If you're looking at a tree, it doesn't have to be that you have to look at so many trees, just one tree, and you will find so many things to observe about it. The leaves, the way that they are falling, the way that a branch is moving, the air underneath those leaves, all of that stuff. But now we are not looking at a bigger picture. We've engaged our senses to look deeper and deeper, narrower and narrower. We are cutting everything else out. All the sides, all the other sounds, everything is out. And now we are just narrow in where we are looking. As we do that, we come more and more into the here and now. As we focus on something so small, in every tiny detail of that, there is no past, there is no future, there is no other thought except for this engagement of that one outside object and you, through just one faculty, one sense of yours. And that will bring you immediately into the here and now. How will you notice? What does the here and now look like? You will notice that even if your mind was running to 5 different places, you will not be running at that pace anymore. The pace will come down. In the middle of it all, you can again remind yourself to breathe. You can again look at some thought, whatever was taking your attention, and from that thought, extract the emotion and go put it in the bucket. And in the middle of that, you can come back to looking at whatever is your gaze, whatever is your focus for the moment. It's that simple. But then we have to remind ourselves again and again to be in the now. It takes a little bit of practice. It was so beautiful. I was talking about it even in the morning. It was so beautiful today as I never think about what is the method going to be, what am I going to talk about to you people? That's because I sit in blankness in the here and now. Whatever money wants to talk about, it will come in that moment. And I understand that I don't have to plan for it. I don't have to prepare for it. There is no past, there is no future. Something will flow through that is meant for you all for this moment. And so a few minutes before, getting ready in the morning, a few minutes before, as I was getting into the shower, and Mani said to me just like that, saying, okay, today observe what the shower feels like on you. And it was so beautiful to just be able to observe the shower, the rainfall of the water falling on my head, and then what it felt like to the skin and what it felt like to my body. And it was warm water. And then in the middle of it, it became cold. The temperature changed. And so just the play of the drops on the body. And then when I was finished with that, I said, oh, that was really engaging. That was really beautiful. And that felt so calming. It felt so nice. It felt so peaceful. And Mani said, yeah, that's the now. That's the now. That's the here and now. You were just in the shower. You were nowhere else. You didn't have time to think about what's going to happen half an hour later, or even what's just happened in the last 2 hours. No, just in the here and now, observing you and the water in the shower. And that was that. So bringing all your faculties together. So what I brought in then in that moment was the touch, because that's what the water felt like on the body, the touch. And so beautifully, in such a simple way, coming into the moment, in the present, and operating from the present moment. No worries, no fears, no anxieties, no any thoughts, not even thoughts of joy, not even thoughts of bliss, not even just nothing. just simply me and that little exercise of observing myself in the shower. And so beautifully, then, when you pick up the soap, that becomes one added part of it. And then when the soap goes on your body, the whole sensation that is changing, but you are able to observe that. For how much time should you do this to be in the now? When you're doing these specific activities, till as long as the activity engages you. A few minutes every now and then would be absolutely fabulous. Why? Because it would take away that pace from you, that I have to run here, I have to go there, I have to do all of this. There is this concept of multitasking where you do so many different things together and your mind is just constantly running from one to the other. Well, this concept of here and now is completely the opposite of multitasking, completely, 180 degrees of multitasking. So what does that mean? Will everything slow down? Will work not get done? As a matter of fact, a long time ago, when I had received this one beautiful article on what the meditation looks like, because as I mentioned that, I was scared shit of meditation. And so when I was told in guidance as to what meditation looks like, it's every moment that you're completely engaged with whatever you are doing. I was also told, because I was an investment banker, I was told not to do the engagements into multitasking. And so simply to come into the moment and do whatever is there for the moment. And I couldn't understand it. I have so many different things to do. And they said, yeah, but whatever it is that you pick up, be fully in that. And then when you leave this, even if you leave this for 2 minutes, and if you leave this and go to do something else, maybe a call comes, but when you're in the call, just simply be in the call. Don't be looking, so many times I had this habit. I'd be on the call, but I'd be also flipping through the pages. And that was the multitasking. But no, if you're on the call, simply be on the call. And then you come back and then you simply be with whatever it is that you're doing. You can do this in a multitasking way. And here's the example, and it's got to do with a household job. So I was making tea, and then I was told, yeah, as you're making tea, and I said, okay, now do I need to just sit here and keep observing the tea because the water is yet to boil? No, for those 2 minutes the water is yet to boil, you can pick up an alternate task, but only enough so that now you're not worried, oh, is my tea running over? Is my tea boiling over? So only pick up that which is going to be done within the next 2 minutes. Maybe pick up a dish or two, maybe just soap them. But as you're soaping the dishes, simply all your attention into the soaping of the dishes that you have in hand. Observe the dish, observe every part of the dish, and then you will be able to do that. And then come back to the tea making. Add an ingredient over there. Go back to something else. You can do the multitasking, but every moment by moment, there is breaks and breaks. And wherever you are fully in that place. You're in that action, you're in that activity. And what does that do to you? It saves you from a lot of stuff. Over here, this is just simply resting. There is nothing to be done from here. Just simply one step at a time. Whatever this moment is calling out for is all that needs to be done. What will be the outcome? What if the outcome isn't this way? What if this doesn't work out? Do I think of a plan B or a C? None of those thoughts, simply moving one piece at a time. When you think, okay, then how will I ever make plans B and C? What if this fails? Well, take a look at the frequency. Where is that frequency? That frequency is fear and worry. When we make plans B, C, D, E, F, the frequency of all of those plans is fear that this is not going to work out and that is not going to work out. And I need to have alternate plans in place. Will everything work out the way we planned to be? No, but it'll work out as it's designed meant to be. And that's why I constantly keep reminding that even for this, as with meditation, we don't have any outcomes associated with everything in life. We just simply flow and keep taking our attention away from the outcomes. We do whatever is needed in the moment and not focus in the future, where the outcome lies, because that is a sure way of not being in the here and now and of being in frequencies of worry, fear, anxiety, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that's my piece. The one thing that we can do, I remind people, even when they have a problem, becoming aware of what their emotions are. I'm constantly telling people there's a very easy tool. You can put an alarm for yourself for every 2 hours. In those 2 hours, when the alarm rings, simply observe, what have I been feeling for the last 2 hours? What am I feeling right now? And so as you observe your emotion in that moment, you can simply wipe the slate clean. Let it go. Whatever you've been thinking for the last 2 hours, you can release. And now here's a few added steps that you can do to bring yourself to an even more calm space, an even more quiet space in within. As you let go, you do the candle process and you are letting go. You do this bucket process and you are letting go. All of these are simply tools for letting go, for bringing the center within, not looking outside anymore. But then once you're done with the releases of the emotion, do this next step as well. That's simply for the next minute, after you're done with the release, for the next minute, don't go back to whatever it is you were doing. Make an extra effort to be in the here and now. Make that conscious effort with whichever faculty. If there are lots of sounds going on around, you could simply close your eyes and sit and focus on those sounds. No judgments. We are not here to make judgments of what the sounds sound like, simply the observation of the sounds. If that doesn't appeal to you, well, pick up something to look at, pick up something to feel, pick up something to breathe in, simply focus on your breath. Whichever of these appeal to you, whichever senses appeal to you in that moment to engage with, you can simply do that. And as you do that, you will find that your breathing is a little bit more quieter. Your mind will be a lot more quieter. Just with this very, very tiny little step of focusing only on one sense and looking at a very small piece of your entire canvas. There's a large canvas out there, narrow it down to something really, really small and tiny, and put all your attention into observation of that which is outside of you. This is outside of you, but it will calm the inside of you. Let's see if there's a few chatty people out there. Okay. Okay, somebody says, my pendant is looking very nice. Thank you very much. It was a gift. I think it was Parinita. She gifted it to me. So here I am wearing it. Okay. So blankness is not zero thought, because there is always an observer eye engaging and feeling the experience, minus judgments and emotions. And that's the present, right? There's always an observer, and sometimes then there is no observer. There is just blankness. There are times when I'm observing the tea boiling, for example, and in that moment, I feel that since I can sense I observing, it cannot be full blankness. How beautiful is that? So the blankness, according to me, when I describe blankness, the blankness that I sit in is zero thought, zero emotion. Zero thought, zero emotion, that place. Whether I'm able to observe that zero thought, zero emotion most of the times, no. Because actually that too would be a thought, right? That, oh, I have zero thought. But I sit just simply in that space. Okay, so after you've observed it, now you have one thought. You have the thought that you are the observer. All right, one thought is way better than 1,000 thoughts. So yes, not judging for not judging yourself for being the observer, and sometimes not being the observer. When there is zero thought, zero emotion, zero you in the picture, you will not even be looking at that thought. Do you have thoughts in your mind, or you don't have thoughts in your mind? It's called being in the flow. And yet, as you are saying, that you've been saying, okay, there is an observer and therefore there cannot be blankness. You're with one thought. Come on, cut yourself some slack. One thought versus 1,000 thoughts. That's absolutely fabulous. You're able to come down to one thought, and that's perfect. And so let that one thought be whatever it is that you're going to observe, but simply bringing down. You know what? These are all practices. So these are all practices which help you empty your pot a little. But if you're going to judge yourself and want to have results at the end of it, okay, I did this practice, I need to be a score 100 on 100 for that, then it's only simply you back to your judgment skills again. When it's meditation, again, as we say, in meditation, we expect that, okay, now I'm meditating, I should be completely without thought, I should be with this, I should be with that. Meditation is all about just simply observing the thoughts and not engaging with them, but observing the thoughts. So that's why I took that process a little bit and made it more elaborate so that you could see how to observe that thought. When you take the thought, you jump into the emotion underneath that. You take that emotion, you go put it in that bucket. You're no longer engaged with that thought or with that emotion. But yes, you exist. And if you exist, and now you're looking at again going back to something which is going to be, racing your mind again, then in that moment, instead of going back to that, take a few moments to go into something very small, very tiny, and look at it in great detail. Observe something outside of you. If your own observation is not with you at all times, observe something outside of you. But in that moment when you are observing, it'll automatically cut your pace. It will automatically happen that you will feel a little bit more mindful, a little bit more present in the now. So go low because you're cutting out all the other faculties. It's not with five faculties that I want you to look at the tree and I also want you to hear the sounds of the stream. I want you to do that. No, it's simply one faculty. Engage in it fully. So take one faculty, whether it's the sound or the sight or the whatever it is, you engage in that one faculty for a few moments and just simply everything else cut out. So if you're going to be listening to it, or if you're going to be, feeling it, then close your eyes. If you're going to be looking at something, you don't have to close your ears, but simply pay attention to the sight and then go narrow on the sight itself. You do this as an experiment and you will just find it so beautiful. So we'll probably do this experiment as a meditation at the end of the session. Okay, so they say, I guess I had judgments of blankness. Thank you for this clarity. Your frequency automatically makes us experience here and now, is my experience. That would be correct, because in my frequency, there is so much of joy and bliss and the blankness, and I keep growing that. And when I grow that, then it's automatically feeding back to the frequencies that I'm holding and the frequencies that I'm constantly taking my energies from. That's the place where you are taking your energies from when you say, I am Meenal. You got me so beautifully, Ma. Love you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. All right there. Okay. All right, everyone. So now that we are done with this, does anybody have any questions about it? So I think I was in the middle of something as well, and I don't know if I said it or not, but you can put, as I say to you, that you put an alarm for every 2 hours. You can even put an alarm specifically for this exercise as well, at least once or twice in a day. When the alarm rings, then practice being in the here and now. If you think that your mind is running into too much judgments, it's going into too much sadness, too much anxiety, pacing, you're too much in the mind. I tell people, when they're too much in the mind, the eyes are looking outside. You've got to bring everything back within. The work is within, but to bring yourself back within, this simple modality can be a really, really easy tool for you to slow you down, to make you back into an observer and not into the actor that is constantly running around, looking outside at the whole drama that's playing outside. Slow, pace yourself down, bring yourself into the awareness of the illusion that all of this drama is, and then you can work a little bit more within when the outside ceases to exist. So outside will cease to exist when only one of the senses are engaged, right? So you bring down from the 5,000 pictures that you have, from the 5,000 things that you're working at, and you bring it down only to a single place of observation. And from that place, very soon you will find you will be into that zero, that place of zero as well. Okay, you have explained it so beautifully. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, everybody. So we just practice this now for the meditation, just a small little experimental session. And so you can see for yourself how to do this. So a deep breath in and relax. Exhale and simply your focus on the breath, on the breath. In and out, the focus on the breath. And the next breath in and out. And the focus on the breath. Deepen the breath just a little bit. And feel yourself relax even more, even more. Just relaxing. And now you look at just one thought. You can ask the universe, what is it that I need to clear right now? Or you can go back to the thought that has been taking a lot of your mind space over the last few hours, over the last few days. Whatever comes to you right now, take a look at that thought. And as you look at the thought, now, what is the energy behind it? What am I feeling as I look at this thought? What am I feeling? What is the feeling from where this thought is originating? Take a look at that energy. It's simply a frequency. It's just a frequency. And so now we go and find that bucket which holds that frequency. You can see, visualize a lot of buckets in front of you. Each of those buckets have a name written on it, a feeling, the name of a feeling written on it. You'll see the bucket right in front of you. It doesn't take much looking. There's a bucket right there with that feeling. And so simply taking that emotion that you have experienced and going and putting it back into that bucket. That emotion belongs there. That feeling, that thought belongs there. You are not that thought. You are no longer that feeling. It's just a frequency. You had picked it up. In this moment, you understand that you have a choice to pick up any other frequency as well. So right now, disengaging from that frequency back into its bucket where it belongs. And now, with just another deep breath in, decide for yourself what faculty, what senses would you wish to engage in right now? Let us say, if you decide to engage in the sight, simply open your eyes and look at the first thing that comes to you. That first thing around which draws your attention. It could be this computer, the phone that you're sitting and listening to. It could be something else around you. Simply draw a gaze around you and pick up something that holds your attention. And whatever holds your attention, it's now through the sight that you are going to look at every detail more minutely, a little bit more minutely. Whatever your object of focus right now be, simply look at that, observe more and more every part of it, every nook, every cranny, everything that belongs to that object. Simply observe. As you observe, all other senses disengaged. You're far away from everything else, only you and this object. There is just you and your observation of this object. Take a few minutes just doing that. While you're doing that, if another thought comes in, you do the same exercise. If a thought comes in, you take a look at where the emotion belongs. Go into the bucket. And as you put that into the bucket, again, bringing your sight back to that one object. That's all. Feel your breath, feel your pace. Take a deep breath in and calm down. This will automatically calm you down. And from this place, whatever it is that you do, you would have changed your energy by being in the here and now. In the here and now, no fear. In the here and now, no anxiety. In the here and now, it's only you and whatever it is that you were doing. You can go back to whatever it is you were doing with so much ease and grace and an empty blank slate right here. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Any questions at this point? All good? All right, people. Enjoy. Let's take a look. Okay. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Okay. Bye.
Bye,
Yeah,
there.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, Uttara. Bye,
Love
everybody.
you.
Bye, Gaurav.
Thank you, Meenal.